If all goes well, you get to stand between those two lovely ladies at the end of the night on top of the podium. This is the desert, and for the first time since 2007, the Grand National Championship Series will make its return to Tucson International Raceway. There's just 2 events left in the chase for the championship. Who's going to win it tonight? One thing's for sure, they'll all dig as hard as they know how. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Speedco AMA Pro Flat Track Nationals presented by General Tire. Ken Stout and Chris Carr here to call the action for you. Just 2 rounds of racing left to go in the 2012 season. We are getting down to it for sure. The hunt for the championship is definitely on. The Grand National Championship Series is always tough, and it features the absolute best in flat track motorcycle racing. And for the first time in 5 years, we're coming back to the 3/8 high-banked oval here at Tucson. With more, let's get it down to Kenny Sargent.
Like all motorsports series, wrapping up the season, they like to have several contenders running for the championship. And that's exactly what we've got here with the AMA Pro Flat Track with 2 races left. And they're all chasing this guy over my shoulder. That's Jared Mees, talking with Jake Johnson. Jared Mees, 16 points ahead of Jake Johnson and 14 points ahead of Sammy Halbert. These guys know each other very well, especially on short tracks. I caught up with them earlier to talk about the advantages of running against these contenders.
The championship's the big goal, you know. So, I mean, if we could somehow pull it off without a win, I'd be fine with that. But the way things are going, I mean, we need to win to get it. You know, Jared and Sammy, they're, you know, up front every weekend. So, you know, to beat those guys, it's going to have to be, you know, for the first spot. It's kind of stupid. I kind of joke around about the whole Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last thing. But I think there's a lot of truth to that. You know, I kind of believe that, you know, if I'm not first, it doesn't matter to me the rest of the way because it's not good enough.
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely thinking about the championship. I try not to, and I can sit here and lie to you and tell you I'm not going to think about it, and I'm just going to go out there and do my best, which is the game plan. You know, that's all you can do is just go out and do your best. You know, I have so much fire inside of me that getting all fired up about the championship and trying that extra little bit is not going to do me any good. If I give 110%, I wipe out. You know, we only got so much traction on these dirt tracks. You know, I just got to go out there, give 100%, try not to let the emotions get to you, but it's tough, you know. It's been a long season. I want this so bad, you know, so I'm going to give it my all, and, you know, there's a fine balance. You can't push it too hard and end up on your head.
It doesn't matter to me. I just want to go out there and win it. And if they're behind me, cool. And if we win it, we win it. If we're first and they're second, hey, as long as I'm winning, I'm happy.
And that's how it goes down as we take a look at the points from General Tire. Jared Mees ahead by 14 as described earlier over Sammy Halbert. Jake Johnson there in 3rd place, 16 back. It's going to be a run right down to the final wire.
Well, we have 3 championship contenders with 3 different attitudes on what it's going to take to win the championship. We'll see in 2 more races who's the guy.
A loaded heat race number 1. Henry Wiles on the 17, Bonsey with a great start right there. Pearson on the 27 underneath him trying to get the spot. Baker on the 12, and they all go at it here. Lap 1 has begun. Oh, man. Woo, what a save.
Wow, Robbie Pearson loses his hole shot. His advantage immediately coming off in turn 2, nearly high sides it. Whoa! And the 12 of Baker running 3rd about does the same thing off turn 4. We're starting to see real early we got ourselves a really tricky, treacherous Tucson Raceway. That's a lot of T's, I'm telling you.
And as is the case with Clay, you can find some really slick spots. You can find some spots that have some grip, possibly a hole. So these guys are going to have to be on their game here tonight.
We've nicknamed these tracks ankle busters. It's real easy to put your foot in the wrong hole. The real black dirt is typically a rut, but there's traction at the bottom of that rut. The blue is kind of sealed over, a little bit of rubber, and a lot of times that's pretty slippery. But Stevie Bonsey, he did a good job of controlling heat race number 1 over Brad Baker.
Pearson and Robinson all going to the main. Of course, the top 2 to the dash for cash to pick up some coveted points as well.
Steven, out the get-go, looked like you had this track figured out.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like Calistoga where I won my first Grand National ever. You know, it just takes smooth laps and staying on the right line. Like, I was just cruising around. I felt slow, but just fast enough to stay in front of everybody else.
And that's all it takes, right? Just beat the rest of the group. It does take some patience for sure here tonight. Throttle control is going to be critical as we show you highlights now from heat race number 2, Johnson, Weidman, and Halbert.
Jethro Halbert, the older brother of Sammy Halbert, dicing it up with our defending champion Jake Johnson out front. You know, this is the type of track that you're going to almost have to feel like you're going slow to go fast. Smooth is the way to go on a track like this. As we see Halbert get a little upset through the middle of turns 3 and 4, there's no rest for the weary on this one tonight.
Well, I've got to ask you, when the bike is making moves like that, how aggressively do you continue to chase it? Because, I mean, as we watch Coolbeth and Halbert go at it here, I mean, even for the best, that is just a moment away from a wreck right there.
Well, that's the way it is in flat track racing. You're pretty much reacting to what's happening on the racetrack. And, you know, these guys' reflexes are razor sharp. They're just dealing with the situation as they go. You know, years of experience allows them to deal with any little hiccup that they may come across along the way.
Jake Johnson leads them back as they come around looking for the checkered flag. Coolbeth up at the top where it looks like it's starting to lay a little rubber down. And they all three roll out of turn number 4 for the checkered flag. Of course, the top 4 going to the main event. Jake Johnson, the winner, though, in heat race number 2. Solid effort there.
Great job by Jake over Matt Weidman. They go to the all-important dash as well with Coolbeth and Jethro Halbert, the last 2 spots into the final from this heat.
Let's talk to our winner.
Jake, not sure if you did, but I think I figured that track out just watching you. There was a few things going on out there that some folks didn't see.
Well, I'm glad you figured it out because I'm still trying to. No, tracks, man, it's tough. You know, it's got a nice smooth line around the outside, but it's so slippery you can't ride on it. So just kind of got to go to the bottom where there's holes and traction and just hang on, you know.
Is this going to be the one who has the most endurance at the tail end of that 25 laps?
I think a little bit, you know. It's going to be just who makes the least amount of mistakes, you know. It's, you know, in qualifying I put 1 good lap in, but the rest were terrible. So it's, you know, the track's so inconsistent. You just, whoever can be the most consistent on an inconsistent racetrack is going to be the one that wins.
It's going to put everybody to the test. I mean, there is no doubt about that. And on these smaller tracks, you don't get a chance to rest, so it is very physical. As you look at the number 9, that is Jared Mees, our points leader, coming in to this event. Oh, yeah, man.
Halbert, the championship contender, aggressive up the inside. And Brian Smith this weekend on his 1-800 Fast Hog Harley in lieu of the Kawasaki that we've seen him ride on the mile tracks, trying to make the high line work here early on as he holds off his fellow Michigander, Jared Mees, for second in this heat race, but Halbert's gone.
Yeah, I was wondering if Mees would want a little payback there, because no doubt Halbert pushing him up high there right at the start. You got to take the spot if you get the advantage, of course, and second in the points is the number 7 of Sammy Halbert.
As we see a great battle for 4th between Michael Martin and Jeff Carver Jr., both younger riders on the circuit looking to get the last spot into the final.
And Sammy Halbert, your winner here in heat race number 3, fresh off of the win at Santa Rosa, his 4th for the season. As we take a look back here just a little bit deeper in the pack and watch that battle at the final transfer spot.
Halbert convincingly wins this one. Good step toward his championship hopes. Puts his rival Mees behind him, but they're both going to the dash head-to-head there.
Results there from E3 Spark Plugs. Let's go to the winner's circle.
Sammy, you checked out at one time. There was a battle behind you between Smith and Mees, but you didn't care. You ran away with this thing.
Yeah, I just got a good start and found my line and stuck with that. You know, I didn't look back the whole time. I just kept my head down and kept pushing, and we built up a good lead, which is it's good.
Maintaining your line on this track, you think it's going to be there for the 25-lapper?
It's definitely going to get a little slicker unless they put some water down, which I'm sure they won't do that. So, yeah, we might have to search around a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. You know, it's going to be definitely a tough race. It's going to take a lot of concentration and just to keep doing perfect laps.
A lot of racing action yet to come, including our dash for cash in the semifinals. Stay with us. We'll be right back to Tucson. We're back in Tucson, Arizona for the Speedco AMA Pro Flat Track Nationals presented by General Tire here at Tucson International Raceway. The Grand National Series always puts on an excellent show, and We look forward to this dash for cash because, as we always talk about, it also pays points.
Big deal here for the 9, the 1, and the 7. Championship implications. Getting down to this time of the year, every point counts. The 80 Stevie Bonsey, though, controls this race from the front. Halbert gives a valiant effort on the last lap off turn 4 to try and get the win. But the 80 of Stevie Bonsey, our heat race number 1 winner, carries it to the checkered flag again.
Yeah, he's got a great night working, of course, being in the quickest heat, and then gets a good start there as well in that dash for cash. Halbert, of course, finishing in front of Jared Mees again, so puts another couple of points on him, closes that gap just a little bit more.
Trying to tighten it up as best he can. Sammy Halbert's doing what he needs to do to give himself the best chance at winning this title.
All right, time for the semifinal now. The top 6 will advance into the main event.
Yeah, we have 12 riders in this one. Top 6 get to dance for another 25 laps. The 17 of Henry Wiles on the Ducati out front. 91 of Mikey Martin on the Triumph in second.
Wow.
Third was Nicole Chesa there for a second, but we have a big run around the outside by, I believe, the 49 of Chad Coase, but Chesa's fighting it hard along the inside there in turns 3 and 4 to get the position back.
Yeah, good call there and good eyes.
Oh,
Chad Coase had a big move, and now the 15 of Nicole Chesa goes down.
It's tough to see that. Appears that she's going to be okay other than a couple bumps or bruises, but looks like she just lost the front end going into turn 1. Might have caught the wrong side of one of those sharp edge ruts, and down she goes, but thank goodness she's all right. Yeah, the front end tucked first, and the rear came around after.
Yeah, it looked like the back was going to come around, but you could see right there. I mean, yeah, it was just the front end, unfortunately, buckled underneath her, and there was no saving that one.
Yeah, that's tough. You know, a track like this, you're going from a bunch of grip to no grip instantly, and many times it can catch a rider off guard. It certainly caught Nicole that time.
Welcome back to Tucson once again for the Speedco AMA Pro Flat Track Nationals presented by General Tire. It was Nicole Chesa who brought out the red flag. Unfortunately, through the turn, the front end buckled underneath her. I didn't want to say it washed out because it really didn't wash out right here.
Well, it did initially, and her natural reaction brought the rear end around, pretty much laying it down. You're taught if you can toss it to the low side. That's much better than letting the rear come around and flipping you over the high side. But the front did take off first, rear came around second.
Nonetheless, she was limping a bit, but has got back on the bike.
Yeah, she's lined up on the 4th row. Give herself another shot to get into the finals. She's got a lot of work cut out for her to get to the top 6 for this one. But Henry Wiles repeats his whole shot from the first heat race, and a great run around the outside by the 49 of Chad Coase, taking the lead from Wiles early on in this semi.
And that's exactly what he did in the first start on this. I mean, he used that top side to carry some good momentum.
He certainly did. Starting to make the high line work. Some riders, they like the high line, and that's, it's the smoothest line around this racetrack tonight. The bottom is a little inconsistent. There's some holes, but there's a little bit more grip. The outside's a little smoother. The chassis aren't upset near as much, and guys are able to control that a little bit better. But Wiles making a run even higher yet. It looks like they have put some water down, trying to widen the racing line off around the turns 1 and 2, and Wiles with a good run up the inside retakes the lead from Chad Coase here early on.
On board the Ducati, yeah, there was one point there that they had 4 different lines working as they all were chasing a little something different. But Wiles right now back up to the top. You're right. I mean, right there on the edge of what maybe you could call a cushion, but it certainly gets a little grayer.
Yeah, it's not really a cushion, not like we saw in Santa Rosa, but it is watered down clay that's packed tight, and there's a little bit more grip up there. As we see guys starting to stretch that line of rubber even higher up, they're starting to develop into a pretty racy racetrack. It's good to see they're not following each other.
Michael Martin just sneaking underneath that other rider. I mean, it was extremely close here. Keep in mind the top 6 going into the main event.
And we see some riders in this semi that have never made a main event before. The 55 on the bottom, one of the Erickson brothers, looking to make his bid into his first AMA Grand National race.
Boy, great stuff here. I've got to tell you, this little bull ring, if you want to call it that, is definitely putting everybody to the test. But you can see that they are running 2, 3, 4 different lines as everybody looks for a little bit of grip, but a very racy track so far.
Right there in that shot, we have 7 riders looking for the final 5 spots. As Coase is running a comfortable second, and Wild's out front. But I mean, any one of these 8 riders are going to make a shot into the final. This is a great run for both of them. And the 11K of Kevin Anderson as well, making his bid for his first Grand National main event.
Chad Coase, a great start early on, has held on to second place here. We'll see if he can do it for just a couple of more turns.
The 91 of Micah Martin, trying to make a bid for second, gets a great run off of turn 2. That Triumph has some pretty good straight line speed, and he uses it to his advantage to accelerate by the 49 down the backstretch.
Again, they go side by side. A little wiggle there out of Coase is going to cost him some real estate. Might cost him another spot.
Yeah, certainly killed his momentum as the 98 of Cale Kolkman making a great run around the outside, running right up on the edge of the blue line, the rubber, trying to lay some more down around the outside, doing a good job making a bid for third here.
Once again, this is our semifinal. White flag comes out, 1 lap yet to go. The top 6 advance into the main.
As the 98 and the 49 battling for third on the final lap. Kolkman, great run around the outside in turns 1 and 2. Looks to be comfortably coming home in third.
Negotiating through turns 3 and 4 as the 17 sails around and picks up the win here in the semifinal. Henry Wiles doing an awesome job on that Ducati. Just drove away from the pack. We'll find out what he has in the final. Of course, things will get a bit tougher.
Great run for him. Ducati's not known to be a great half-mile, especially on these car tracks. A great choice, but he certainly did the job in that semi. We'll see if he can move forward in the final.
Martin, Kolkman, Coase, all going to the main event, and congratulations to Kevin Anderson and Duke Erickson. For the first time in their careers, they will make a main. When we come back, it'll be time for the Pro Singles main event. We've got some great racing action coming your way. Stay with us. Welcome back to Tucson International Raceway, the Speedco AMA Pro Flat Track Nationals presented by General Tire. The main event is set for the experts, but before we cover that, let's show you the main for the Pro Singles.
Lined up on the inside, our pole center 25A, Shayna Texter, the winner of the recent Knoxville, Iowa round, her second win of the year, looking to make it 3 tonight here in Tucson. Gets a good start, good run down the back straightaway. She wants to set sail here, Kenny. I think they, oh wow, we got the 96 down of Cody Johncox limping off to the inside of turn 3. That's unfortunate, and we'll certainly bring out the red flag and as we get ready to line this one up again.
Once again, Shayna gets off to a great start here. We would have a couple of red flags throughout the course of this main event. Shayna was so fast, though, right off the bat, but again, a lot of competition as the battle would close right back up on the rear fender.
Yeah, as we see him go 4 wide behind Shayna through turns 3 and 4. You got 4 guys going, hey, I don't want to let that girl get too far in front of me. She's going to run off and hide as the 66 of Kalindis tries to chase down Shayna there. And we have Cole Anderson getting a ride from the 93 of Aaron Colton after he takes a soil sample. Well, he goes, maybe I can restart my bike by myself and get going. So we line them up again. Staggered restart. Shayna at the front. 25A on the DFW Honda. Vaults out front again. And wow, she was actually passed there before getting that red flag as we have the 2 riders down. The 96 again of Cody Johncox and the 90M of Wyatt Anderson. We started all over, and Shayna not getting as good a start that time, battling with the 74Z of Rodney Spencer Jr. And Rodney's a second-generation racer. His father used to be national number 49, and he's leading us out front with a lap to go, and Shayna's got her hands full.
5 foot 95 pounds. Shayna's trying to make a run at it here. The crowd on their feet. Spencer with a little wiggle right there. Keep your eyes on Shayna Texter right around the outside as she drives for the finish line. Her 4th career win out here. Pulls it off. She is a tough, tough competitor.
Boy, there's no give up in that girl. She just looked like she pinned it through 3 and 4 in the last lap. Great job by Shayna to put it out front there over Rodney Spencer Jr. to wrap up tonight's Tucson Pro Singles race.
And the results from E3 Spark Plugs. Let's get it down to Kenny Sargent.
Shayna, I don't know if you could hear the crowd here on the front stretch, but every time you rolled by, I don't care where you were sitting in there, whether you're in the lead or really fighting to get back that lead, whether you're fighting to get that lead back, the crowd was behind you. Could you feel them at all?
You know, after leading that many laps and then the red flag, you know, I didn't want to give up. You know, when my dad passed away, one thing I learned was to never give up. And, you know, 4 wins later, we're still charging hard and having a blast.
When you see this, it's going back and forth. Okay, you're up front. Red flag, another red flag. Oh, man, they're trying to take it away from you. What was it? Was it the bobble between 3 and 4 that really gave you that lead?
You know, Jared and Kenny and Brian Smith all came over to me, and they said, just ride your own race, and just ride it. And the first couple laps, I was pushing really hard, and finally Tuda came, and I'm like, all right, I just got to be smooth. And, you know, honestly, I have no clue how I just pulled that one out. But, you know, I know my dad's watching down on me, and I'm just trying to make him proud each weekend.
That's awesome. Great to see that big win.
Thank you. I just got to thank all the fans definitely for tuning in to watch. And my team, DFW Honda, McElroy Packaging, Arai Helmets. You know, there's so many great people supporting me. And, you know, the fans for sure. You heard them tonight. They're one of a kind.
Excellent job for the college student. Still getting it done out here on the racetrack. All right, so they'll line up for the main event. We've got some great racing action coming your way. This track has been a handful for the best of the best, so we can only imagine what 25 laps is going to do here before all's said and done. That guy has a perfect night working. Stephen Bonsey, who came out, won the fastest heat race, won the Dash for Cash, was pressured by Halbert in his heat race as well, who's fresh off of his 4th win of the season. Just 1 race ago at Santa Rosa. So we've got the players coming out here. Of course, our points leader as well, Jared Mees. We'll also have Jake Johnson. I mean, the big dogs are ready to go at it here on this tough racetrack.
Yeah, if you have a single digit tonight, you're in the contention for the championship. The 1, the 7, the 9 are the riders to watch. There might be a few spoilers, and I'm sure that number 80, Stephen Bonsey, wants to be a spoiler tonight. Be nothing better than to be up front. But Jake Johnson has his work cut out for him. He's 3rd in points. He was 16 back coming into the night. He's going to have to make a move to the front if he wants to win this championship.
And one of those spoilers could be the 12 bike there of Brad Baker. Let's get it over to Kenny Sargent for final thought.
Guys, one of the keys to tonight's race, of course, is figuring out this racetrack. Some prep problems early on. Too much water, not enough water, the track breaking up in spots. You saw the bikes earlier just sliding all over the place, up and down. One of the riders that has seemed to have figured it out, of course, is your number 2 in championship points, Sammy Halbert. What are some of your major concerns? Is it the track, starting position, what?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to be on the inside pole, but we're going to do our best to get the whole shot. If not, we'll just kind of follow for a while and see how things shake out. But, yeah, the track's really challenging. You know, it's kind of inconsistent, a little rough. So I'm just going to do my best to hopefully make a pass and get the lead, or like I said, just get the whole shot and do it from the front. But
Jake Johnson sitting outside of you, and, of course, Jared Mees sitting behind you. You going to be numbers watching tonight?
I mean, right now in the main event, it's just time to go. You know, I want to win this thing, and that's what I need to do. So I'm going to do my best. I'm pretty excited at the chance of being able to win, so I'm going to give it my all.
Second to the last race for the championship. Are you gripping? Are you tight?
Yeah, no, this is awesome. I feel pretty loose right now. I'm pretty happy, so I'm just going to give it my all. You know, I like being in this position chasing, so I'm just going to go out there and do my best, and, you know, I got nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Guys, one of the riders that looks like he may be gripping, maybe have some things on his mind is your points leader, Jared Mees. Jake Johnson, he's throwing it all out there. Sammy, you heard him. Let's go for it, fellas.
It's very interesting to hear Sammy Halbert say he likes his position as a chaser. Looking back a year ago, this time of the season, he was the leader and lost to this man here, Jake Johnson, by a scant few points at the end of the season. Let's see if he can reverse the roles this year.
Absolutely. We'll get them all started here when we come back to Tucson. Round 15 of a 16-race series is about to begin. The 25-lap main event is next. Stay with us. Welcome back to Tucson, Arizona. It is a warm night here for the Speedco AMA Pro Flat Track Nationals presented by General Tire. Ken Stout, Chris Carr, and Kenny Sargent covering the action for you. A short, physical racetrack on a warm night, 25-lap main event. How important is it to be in shape here tonight?
I don't think it's as important as our last event in Santa Rosa. I think the most important thing here tonight is to be calm, cool, and collected. Smooth, rolling on the throttle, no big adjustments to your riding as you're going around the track. Smooth is going to be fast on this rough and treacherous track tonight.
Bonsey, Halbert, Pearson, all on the front row as we take a look at our lineup. Jared Mees, your points leader on the inside of row number 2, alongside 2 talented riders as well. Henry Wiles being the inside of row number 3, and digging deep with the Ducati.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road for Henry as the riders are getting a sighting lap. Many of these guys haven't seen this track for an hour or so. It's undergone a lot of changes as the racing's been going on with the various semis and the pro singles final. This is a tough little track. I remember racing here in 2007, and this 25 laps is going to go quick. There's really no chance to rest, but tonight they're going to have to be sharp because there's a lot of little spots that can catch you off guard. We see an outside line developing. We'll see if that comes into play later in the 25-lap feature.
You can see the guys practicing their starts there. You mentioned this race is going to go by quick. In Santa Rosa at the mile, lap times were basically 39 seconds a lap. Here, they're in the low 20s, 21, 22 seconds. So, yeah, substantially quicker.
Yeah, no opportunity to rest your mind or that right throttle hand. These guys are going to have to pay attention on this tricky track tonight. 18 of the best in the business going at it.
And you know, we constantly talk about the ability for the Harley-Davidson to handle a bit better than the other bikes. I would think on a track like this is where they would really shine.
Well, I think we see the entire front row is made up of Harley-Davidsons. This track is round. It's about momentum. The Harley-Davidsons have big, heavy crankshafts. I mean, even 42 of Brian Smith is on a Harley-Davidson tonight because he knows it's the bike of choice. I think it's the way to go for this evening.
Bonsey with a decent start, but it's Jake Johnson who jumps out to the early lead. What a hole shot out of him.
Hey, that's exactly what the third place rider in points needed, was to be out front early. And about pitches it sideways there. Gets sandwiched.
Hit a little hole there going into one, but it definitely upset the bike for sure.
And it, just like that, from first to fourth, one little bobble. Those kinds of mistakes are real costly on a track this short.
And good news for him is everybody else is going to have to deal with it sooner or later as well. The track is equal to all. Bonsey right now battling with Brian Smith. You talked about Smith on the outside with the 42, off the Kawasaki, onto the Harley, and now Sammy Halbert on the inside with the number 7 bike, also bidding for the lead.
Yeah, we have 2 distinct lines being run here. Bonsey riding the good. Oh, Halbert almost goes down. But talking about Bonsey here, real smooth out front. And the interesting thing is he's on the Goodwin Racing Harley-Davidson. This is the first night he's ever raced this bike that I'm aware of. And here he is leading a 25-lap national. Kudos to him. This guy can get on anything and adapt.
Such talented riders. I mean, just watching the ability to make the quick corrections needed to stay aboard these things and keep them upright is nothing short of exceptional. Then to watch them battle like they're doing right now is just absolutely amazing.
You know, I think back to what Jake Johnson said in his early interview. The guy that makes the fewest amount of mistakes is probably going to be the guy winning. We just saw him make a huge one, and here he is lapping in 6th from being the leader. He certainly does not look very comfortable right now. And out front we have, as we go on board with Jared Mees, he's certainly trying to make a move forward. But Bonsey made a couple little bobbles, but he seems to have snapped back out of them real quick.
Yeah, as you talk about Jake Johnson, of course, Baker right there on the number 12 as well. But how about Jake Johnson? I mean, he's up front thinking, okay, I got a great start here. Then all of a sudden he falls back, and he knows Halbert is well up ahead of him. You hate to think about the championship points, but it's impossible not to.
Yeah, and it looked when he entered turn 3 there on the first lap that it caught him by surprise, and it's made him tentative from that point on. And we see that in him dropping backwards.
And it makes it so easy to start overdriving, overriding, if you will, because you want to make that ground back up. You know how important it is. You really got to try to keep yourself calm and get back in the groove.
Yeah, it's one of those things where this is a type of track where you need to be almost passive aggressive. You can't be overly aggressive. You have to be cautiously aggressive. And Bonsey's doing that better than anybody right now.
Yeah, we've heard the term slower is faster on a lot of these smaller tracks. Certainly one of those where it can apply here tonight. Bonsey has just been spot on, though, all night long as we go back to this battle now, once again involving Jake Johnson and Jethro Halbert. That is the older brother of Sammy.
Well, I'm sure Jethro would like to help out his little brother a little bit here by putting that number 1 behind him. Siblings have been known to be helpful in racing situations, and I'm sure that's no different here.
Once again, great action out here at Tucson. Take a look at that speed shot that goes sailing by, and there's a look at your speed code, top 5. We'll be right back with more action from the main. You're watching Henry Wiles, currently in 14th, but look at him working that bike, no doubt about it. Right beside him on the inside is the number 91 of Michael Martin, who can also be very aggressive as we go back up to this battle for third between Sammy Halbert and Jared Mees.
Not only is it a battle for third, but it's a battle for the championship. Number 7 certainly doesn't want to peek back. His eyeballs will get full of that number 9. Jared lost a few points to the 7 of Halbert as of late. Wanted to make up for it tonight. He's got the best opportunity he's had in weeks.
Once again, we watched Sammy Halbert, who led the championship series pretty much all of last year. Really has no issues with hanging one out. This is certainly his style track, but Jared Mees is certainly proving he has no issues with keeping up either.
You know, this track is developing into a Jared Mees style racetrack. However, he's got somebody in his way at the moment. It looks like Jared is faster, but it's on the bottom line. He hasn't really tried anything but waiting for the 7 to make a mistake. He's either going to need to force a mistake or try an alternate line. And I don't quite understand this, but maybe if he goes high, here he is. He's giving it a shot now up the outside.
We go back up to our leader and Stephen Bonsey. Bonsey has been perfect here tonight, winning the heat race, winning the dash for cash, and now way out front here in this main event. We look back here at Coolbeth Jr. and Johnson. Coolbeth also picking up a win here a little bit earlier in the season. How about Jake Johnson, though? We are deep in this season, and he's still looking for his first win on the year.
Yeah, he's struggling tonight as the 2 of Coolbeth with that patented glowing rear brake rotor that we see all too often with Kenny Coolbeth.
Coolbeth with a great comeback, too. I mean, we documented that at Knoxville. Of course, picked up the win at Knoxville, but coming back after that injury has done a great job.
Yeah, the Knoxville track was pretty smooth. This one's rough. I think Kenny might have be a little apprehensive putting his previously broken leg down through the holes that we have around this track.
And Wiles picking up a couple of spots as we go on board once again. It is just amazing to watch what these guys are doing, feeling every little movement. Look at that, 3 wide through the turns. Everybody moving around. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, we have Weidman and Robinson and Doug Lawrence running 3 distinct lines around the Tucson Raceway track. Weidman's running around the bottom. That's not normally where we see him. He likes a big cushion track like we saw last weekend in Santa Rosa.
Boy, and this track is really starting to glaze off here as we continue. You can really see the 2 lines kind of developing as well.
And many times they're crisscrossing at the exits. You know, you see that very outside line, the inside line, and then they converge in the middle. Something's got to give. We see Lawrence go to the outside all the way down to the inside. They're trying everything they can. But here we got 5 guys for position here. This is amazing stuff.
The 69 of Jethro Halbert almost losing it there for a moment as, again, they run 2, 3, and nearly 4 wide back in the pack. Everybody's scrapping for positions here. And you can see this group for these guys is kind of washing up a bit.
You know, if Stevie Bonsey would slow down, he could be a part of this great race here.
I don't think he has any issues with doing any of that right there. No desires to do any of that, I should say. He is way out front and putting it together here tonight.
Awesome action throughout the field here. That's what Grand National Racing is all about. These guys are going for it. Doesn't matter if it's for first, for fifth, or for 15th. They're going to give it their all.
Yeah, making the show here at this level is I mean, just exceptional right off the bat. So to come out here and battle these guys, they're never going to give you anything. It's a scrap right to the checkered flag.
Well, not only are they battling with each other, but they're battling with a very tricky racetrack. This is a tough one tonight. And Bonsey, smooth as can be as we go on board here, leading us into our Speedco Top 5. That's a bird's eye view. Tucson. We'll be back.
We are back for the final laps here at Tucson. Stephen Bonsey has been spectacular tonight. Keep in mind, for several years, he actually was chasing a road racing championship, European road racing, 125s and 250s. I've got to wonder if any of that applies to what he's doing here tonight.
Well, I think his flat track experience applied to him as a road racer. I know he was he chased the road race dreams over in Europe under the tutelage of Kenny Roberts for a few years. He's been a part-time dirt tracker since then, hasn't really caught hold of a career in the road race, and you know, he's looking at a potential second AMA Grand National win here tonight. The guy's a racer, period.
One lap to go. Stephen Bonsey out front. Sammy Halbert now closing the gap here. And this could be a real battle in this last lap here for the win.
Yeah, Halbert making a move. Brian Smith running second. But, man, nobody's touched this guy. He can push it home from here.
And he puts together a perfect night. Congratulations to Stephen Bonsey. Jumps out front early on, drives away, and hangs on for the win.
Deep sigh of relief there from Stephen Bonsey. Great run. Much like his first win at Calistoga a year ago, dominating fashion. Leads this one essentially wire to wire over Brian Smith and Sammy Halbert. And Smith, you got to give him a lot of credit. He's switching from Kawasaki's to Harleys. Here he is finishing second on his Harley tonight.
Halbert, by the way, one ahead of Mees, so again closes that points gap just a little bit as they'll head into the final event of the season. Results from E3 Spark Plugs. Let's get it down to Kenny Sargent, who has our winner on top of the box. Kenny?
Stephen Bonsey, second Grand National win. And looking at what you did in that race, it looks like you've been doing this for about 10 years, man. You ran away with that thing. You didn't look back one time, man. Congratulations.
Well, I can't lie. I did look back a couple times. I was a little bit nervous, you know. I know these guys are tough competition, but I knew if I got the whole shot, I could do it, you know. And the line came in that I've been running all day, and it worked. And I'm so stoked right now. I can't even explain, you know, to get another win under my belt. I've been asking God for this one for a while now, you know. Since Calistoga, I kind of struggled, and it feels so good to get it back.
You've got Sammy behind you. You've got Brian Smith battling back there. Then, of course, your points leader, Jared Mees, way back there. This has got to be bigger than a big old pat on the back, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, something like this gives me the motivation to keep trying, you know, because I kind of got down on myself after a while. And this really helps me out to go back home and train harder for next weekend and come out next year swinging. You know, these guys are fast, and it's just the feeling right now. I'm over the top.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Congratulations to Stephen Bonsey. All right, let's take a look at the points here as Halbert just picking away at it. Just 12 behind right now, Jared Mees.
Inching a little bit closer there. Good run by Sammy. Jared, pretty good damage control, limits the damages.
And we'll go back down to Kenny Sargent.
Sammy, it's not the exact result you wanted, but you're standing up here on the podium, which is saying a lot because I don't see your points leader sitting up here.
Yeah, you know, it was a pretty good ride. You know, I had a few moments out there, but let the leaders get away, and then I just stuck with my low line and reeled in Brian there at the end, and, you know, made the pass on him, and just really kind of bummed to let that second place slip away. I had it and just maybe drifted a little wide off of turn 4, and that's you know, it was only 1 point from third to fourth where Jared is, and if I would have got up into second, that would have been another like 3 points or something like that. So, you know, good ride, but just, you know, a little bummed not to get that second place. That was just within my grasp.
I saw you cross start finish and you shook your fist. Was that a darn it? I didn't get the second spot.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed I didn't get second. I just hit my hand against the handlebars and just like, I had that, and just, you know, let it slip away. I really needed that second place, but would have made things a lot tighter going into the finale. But you know, I did what I needed to do as far as beating those guys. So on a tough track, I had a few moments out there, almost got bucked out of the seat, and you know, brought it home in third. So I'm still smiling.
And you're still standing on the podium.
Yeah, podium's good. Thanks.
And you mentioned it before. I mean, to these guys, if they don't win, then it just doesn't matter. I mean, he's obviously counting points, but the win is all these guys chase every single time they come out here. Kenny Sargent once again is back down on the podium.
Brian Smith, I got to be honest, I didn't bring the camera around your pits all day, and then I see you go out there and do what you just did. That's an impressive podium for you here tonight.
Yeah, like I said, it's second. Today is a win in my books. I really struggled earlier, and my dad made some calls on the Maroney's Harley, and we got her dialed in for the main, and had a shot there for a minute at going for the win, and about threw it away and won. I said I better just tone her down a notch and come away with a good, solid second place.
How was the track? It looked like it was falling away pretty quick.
Yeah, it's every time we went on the track today, it was different. From the first practice till into the main event, every lap it was changing, and the main event was definitely the best it was for me personally, both with my bike setup and the track prep that the AMA did do. So hats off to them for making lemonade out of lemons or something like that. What's that saying?
But the big question for me is now going into Pomona. What are we going to see you on for Pomona?
Like I said today, I did it on the FastDog.com Harley today, but for Pomona, I'll be back on the Crosley, Howard, and Kawasaki. And it's a real big half-mile, totally different than this one today, so I'm going to be on the gas and line that rocket ship up straightaway down the straightaway and let her rip.
And you could be a spoiler, man.
Yeah, that's my plan. There's a Twins championship on the line that's just for bragging rights, and I think me and Sammy got to be damn near about tied on that. So I'm going into Pomona to win and let the points fall where they may.
Could be fun.
Oh, yeah. Pomona's going to be a blast. The track's great. The fans are great. I'm looking forward to it.
A busy night for all riders involved, that's for sure. Exactly what we expected when we came to this 3/8 oval. Once again, Kenny, your final thoughts.
Well, guys, as we wrap up Tucson, some final thoughts. Two familiar names, Sammy Halbert, Brian Smith up on the podium, but one name with only a second Grand National win, Stephen Bonsey, having a good time. You heard him in the interview earlier, really getting down on himself, not riding as well as he expected, but it was all about him tonight. Start to finish, Bonsey with the big win. And now we're about to wrap this thing up in Pomona. Halbert still chasing Mees, Jake Johnson with a fighting chance, but it's going to be a battle between Halbert and Mees in Pomona. Fellas?
One round to go, Chris.
One round to go, and great night for Steve Bonsey. I tell you, somebody can build a team around that kid. He is ultra talented. For a part-time racer, his results are very, very impressive.
Remember, you can keep up with all the action at lucasoil.com. Like us on Facebook or hit us up on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you as well. For Kenny Sargent and Chris Carr, I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching the AMA Grand National Championship Series. We'll see you at round 16.